I'm ready for this.
Illustrations by me.
So this has been a long time coming. I'm very excited. I'm going to do the video on this wonderful watercolor journal. And so let me show you something about this. So when you're looking at this, it starts up here. This is one thing I think I wish was a little bit different. I may shorten this. I may actually cut a hole in the back here and then put it up through here and then have it come up through this other hole here and just kind of be a shorter thing, because you do kind of have to, it works well, but you kind of have to see how the pages are like bending right there. They're all bending and they're crumbling like right there. That's okay. It's not a big deal. And then you wrap this over and then you put it back through the back like this, and then you pull it and it's, well, it's supposed to stay. It usually does stay. You pull it a little bit and then it stays. It doesn't come open. It doesn't shake open. It's pretty good. It doesn't pull open this way. It holds pretty well. But I think I need to do something. I don't know if I'm going to leave it like this. Only because when you open it up, now you have this long string that sits like that, and it's sitting open. I guess it's not really in the way, and if I get down to the middle of the book or something, I can wrap it underneath. It's fine. In the first part of the book, I don't know if I want to do that because I don't want to bend the cover too much. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. But look at the paper. Look at how aged this looks. Oh my god, it's beautiful paper, and I think the way that I'm going to handle this is not going on this page and then on this page. I think I don't want to do that because sometimes you do one page and the other page and the other page. I'm going to leave some room for the artwork on the other side in case I do marker or something to bleed through a little bit to the other side. I'm okay with that. I don't mind it. If I put the ink on a little thick, if it happens, I'm fine with it. Not going to worry about that. So what I'm going to do is do something on this page. Of course, this is the first page. I'll do something here. Then here, I'm going to do something here, and then maybe make some notes on the other side. So let me get that fully in the shot there. So I'll do a drawing or painting or whatever I'm doing here, and then put some notes over here. Or I may do, on a double spread like that, I may do like something small here and then some writing and then maybe something bigger here. But I'm not going to do a full drawing on this page. I might do something small, a little couple doodles or sketches, maybe a thumbnail, maybe some notes. And then this side will be the full painting or drawing or whatever it is. So I think that's how I'm going to do this whole book. I cannot wait to get started in it. I've actually taken out the other paper and practiced on it a little bit. And just to see if it will, but you can see like some pages, this one's much less tinted than this one and much less tinted than some of these, and you can see little spots and imperfect spots. This is the most tinted. So I love this book. I love the way it looks. It makes me feel like I'm opening some old text and my work is going to be in it. It's going to be my work inside this old textbook. It's very interesting to me. It makes me want to do something, and that's the most important part of any art supply, is that it makes you want to create in it. If you have a book that makes you want to create in it, that's all you really need. You probably need some other things too. I'm guessing you need something to make the mark in the book. So scratch what I just said. That's not true. You do need something else, not just the book that makes you want to draw in it. But that's the biggest part, is that you have an art supply that makes you want to use it, and then you find other things to put with it. That's fine. Don't worry about that. Okay, so I have to start this off by saying there was another comment that was left by someone on another video. It was the video where I did the Woomer watercolor, and they said I recommend other people to watch this, watch other reviews, because other people complained about those watercolor and I said that they were good. Now, that is always what I tell you. Yes, you should definitely always look at everybody else's reviews, because this is only me reporting on how I'm using something. I know for a fact that there are people that would hate this paper. I know it the very fiber of my being, I know it. But I like it for what I used it for, because I like it right now. It's something that I'm excited about. It's something that I'm going to use, and it's going to work the way that I want it to work, and the way that I'm going to use it right now is fine. But you may get it and not like it. Just like there are plenty of people here on the channel that watch the channel, and you only like hot press watercolor paper, or you only like cold press watercolor paper, or you only like rough watercolor paper. You're not all, and some people only like cotton watercolor paper, and some people only like cellulose watercolor paper. It is highly dependent on what you enjoy using. I loved this paper. I enjoyed creating on it. What I wanted to do with it worked out well. I did get some gradients in it. I did get some interesting line work that I was able to put on the watercolor because of how it spread and how it worked with each other and how it moved together a little bit. And of course, this is the, I said of course, it's of course, that's how you say that. I used, this is the Core Daniel Smith palette. So when I use the core with any other watercolor or with itself, it just spreads into the other color very wonderfully. There are some spots on the, this is uneven paper. Don't get frustrated. Don't buy it and say, hey, you said it was wonderful for watercolor, and then you realize, oh, it's uneven when you put the, yes, it is uneven watercolor paper, which means some parts of it almost repels water, and it sits on top, and some of it soaks it right in. It's very uneven, but you can see here, I was able to get the results I always get on the paper that on other paper that I always use. But that's because this is how I create. If this is not how you create, then things are going to be a little different. It's not going to be the same for you. So only when I tell you something, please keep in mind, I'm telling you based on my experience and what I'm doing. I have no idea how you work. I don't know how you like things. I don't know how you want things to act. I say this is a great paper. I absolutely loved working on it. I will be working on it more in the future. I had a little bit of issue with I have to learn the color palette on this thing, because the color palette is trying to get the right colors on a toned paper is very different. So I like basically the things I did, but I think there were some strange points to it, but that's okay. I still had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it entirely. I'm going to use this paper plenty in the future. I'm going to do a little bit more, maybe a little bit more ink work with it like I did in this one. I was going through, and this thing, you got to watch till the end. It's not going to come together until the very end, because I had to I put some extra dark ink lines in. I put some extra patterns in some of the colors. I put some white in with that white brush. That was another one. A lot of people said that white brush that I'm going to use later in the video, you'll see at the end, that they absolutely can't stand. They like it, but they can't stand that it dries out and gets clumpy and gets disgusting. I haven't found that yet, but I can see how that would happen. I've been using it a couple of times, and when I used it in this one, it was a little bit difficult. I had to cut out some spots, but I would put it in, and then it would dry out a little bit. I had to squeeze it over on a paper towel because it would drop off like big dots when you squeeze it. And then you just wipe off the edges, and then you go back in with the pen. So it's very interesting. It's very different to use that pen, but so far it's okay. I just hope it, my biggest fear is that it dries out before I get done with it. But that's okay. And I also, you'll see in here where there's some spots in here where I was going over it, and it just kind of, like I said, repelled the water where it didn't fill in the whole thing. It was almost like an extreme dry brush effect. But I was keeping the brush fairly wet when I went over that. So that means that section of the paper was repelling the water a little. And I just used it. It's fine. I was fine with it. I know that when I went back in with the color around it, I'm talking about those couple of spines on the right side there. When I went back in with the red color around it, I made sure it was soaking wet when I put that in there. And that came out okay. So, but when I put that dark Payne's gray in there, it was a little bit more of a dry brush effect. But I used it. I left it. I didn't go back over it. I left it just like that and treated it that way. But there's just definitely some quirkiness to this paper. You have to use it in a way that it works, not the way that you work, and then it's a wonderful paper. And I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna enjoy this very much. Now, if you do like pen sketching or you do colored pencil or something like that, colored pencil might be a little rough. It's got a texture to it, so that might be a little rough. But if you're doing like any kind of other ink work, just pen work or whatever, it's probably going to be fine. You're not going to have that much of a problem with it, because even though it does have texture, I didn't have a problem writing on it. It was fine. I know some people only like to write with the hot press watercolor paper. This is not a hot press watercolor paper, but it worked just fine. I think everything worked out okay. So in the end, I just wanted to say that I think personally that this is a great paper, and I will definitely enjoy it. See, one of the things about having an art channel is it's you have to understand you can't be too fragile with things. Okay, you can't don't think that just because someone says they don't like something or that they do like something and then you get it and you don't like it. It's not always a reflection on them. It's not always them saying, oh, they were just shilling for a company and they were just telling you that it was good. This was not sent to me. I paid, well, I didn't pay for this. It was a gift to me. But this was not sent to me from the company. So I'm telling you, I just enjoy it. And I'm going to tell you how wonderful it is. You may get it, you may not like it. It's okay. But even if I get something and I don't like it, but you do like it, first of all, the internet ruins everything. If you like something, don't watch reviews on it. That's very important. If you really enjoy something, you really like it, don't watch it. They will ruin your enjoy. That's what they will do. They will take it away. They will stomp all over it. And then you'll feel like you're a fool because they'll say things like, oh, real artists don't use this kind of thing or whatever. And meanwhile, you love it. And they're telling you that a real artist wouldn't love it. Don't listen to them. That you do what you have to do, what you like to do, what you enjoy doing, and don't. So that's why I say, if you love something, if there's a paint you like, or a book you like, or a pen you like, or whatever, colored pencils, acrylic pen, whatever it is, if you like it, don't look at reviews on it. It'll ruin your day. And that has happened many times, especially with sketchbooks with me. I love certain sketchbooks, and I always tell you, I'm very partial to certain companies. I love the Stillman and Byrne books. They're cellulose books. They do not act like cotton paper. They do not act like that. You cannot do the same techniques on those books that you would do on cotton paper. But I still love those books. I enjoy using them. So if I say, if I watch a review and someone says, oh, these are absolutely terrible, I would never use this, look at how it does this and look how it does that, that's because that's not how it's meant to be used. You're using it wrong and then blaming the book. That's not how it works. And so it ruins your day when you look at reviews about something. You like something, just settle on it. That's it. Unless you're looking at, oh, this paint isn't light fast or something. Like, I love using this paint, and I was selling my work with this paint, and all of a sudden someone comes along and says, look, this is not light fast. And I'm like, oh crap, I just sold a bunch of it to someone. Now I feel like I ripped someone off, and that's not good, and I don't want to feel like that. So I get that, and I understand that part. But anything else, usability-wise, don't pay any attention to anyone. Same thing with fountain pens, there are certain fountain pens I've seen some terrible reviews. I'm like, wait a minute, I use that all the time. That's like my daily writer, and I enjoy using that. And other people are just trashing the crap out of it, and it just doesn't pay. If you enjoy something, leave it at that. Now, if you're looking to find out if you're going to like something, then I understand. You look at the little reviews on it. Or maybe you're using something and you don't like it and you look at a review and then someone tells you, oh, this is how you're supposed to use that. And then a light bulb goes off in your head. You're like, oh, I was using it wrong. Okay, so I need to use it differently if I'm going to use that. But that's not what people do. People usually say, well, that's not the way that I work. And then they just throw it in the garbage. that's fine too, if that's what you want to do. I'm not putting my rules on you, but don't put your rules on me. I hate using things the way that I use them. I like to do something a little different. I've said it in every damn video. I'm not going to keep saying it. You know the deal with me. I enjoy using things the way that it needs to be used. If I enjoy using it that way, I'll continue. If it's something I don't, I won't. So, but this paper, absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed how it worked. The colors blended on it fine. The watercolor was blending absolutely fine. They, even when I had a dry spot and I would go back over it with a little different color, like on that lower right side I did that with, it blended absolutely fine with the color under it. Nothing happened. It wasn't terrible. I was able to re-wet the paint. Now it didn't lift, but I didn't try to lift it. So it didn't lift on the paper when I went over it, when I glazed over it with the other color. It didn't. It just blended very nicely. So I don't know if this paper lifts. I have not tried that. It may not. If that's something that you do a lot of, you may not like this paper. If you do blending on the page, though, it works. It worked for me anyway. I don't know how you do it. It worked for me. Now, I've also heard several things say that this paper could have non-treated spots. It's unevenly treated or something with the sizing. The sizing is sometimes is a little different in different spots of the page. I didn't see that too much except for that one spot there on the right where I said that it almost repelled the water. It's like the sizing built up on the surface there. But I didn't have anywhere where I said, oh, there's no sizing in this paper. It was maybe a little bit too much in a spot, but not that it wasn't not enough. Now, if you're doing realistic things and you need everything to be solid and even, I would be concerned about using this paper. But if you're using this as a like rough sketchbook, it's a beautiful thing. It's absolutely wonderful. I love it. The one thing that you need to do with this book, though, at least if it's anything like their other paper that I bought, it was the same paper. It was just in a pack of paper. It wasn't in a book. But that paper, you need to put the color down first, because if you put the line work down first and then put the color into it, it spreads outside those lines. It's not, I know some people don't like the way that I say things because bleeding is usually to the other side, but feathering may be a better word. The watercolor feathers where it goes outside the lines a little bit. It spreads a little bit through the paper. So it'll go outside the line you have. So you want to make sure that you put the paint down first, so that way it can finish spreading, and then put your line work in and you can outline it properly. So that's something you may want to keep in mind. Other than that, wonderful experience. I will continue to do this. I wasn't really thrilled with how this came out. This wasn't my favorite piece in the world or anything else like that. I just decided to do this weird little thing, and then I thought maybe in the front it looked like some kind of cassowary or something like that. So I just put the little eyeball on it. But really, it was just meant to be nothing. I didn't have that in my head when I started, and I just started repeating patterns and colors. So that's what ended up happening. That's fine. It's wonderful. I enjoy it. I like how it came out. I like that I added the extra dimension with the extra contrast, with the dark spots, the extra highlights with the white pen, which is something you can do with tone paper. That's a wonderful thing. You can do that with tone paper, and I absolutely love doing that. Adding the contrast, that's always wonderful. So, and this is the first page in this book, so it just goes to show you, you do not have to freak out about the first page in your book. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't, when someone looks at this book for the first time, they're going to see this as their first page. It's not going to be like the rest of the work in the book. It's not going to look the same. It may look worse than everything else that comes after it. I don't care. It's the first page in a book. It's just like the second page or the third page. You don't have to get all tense. You don't have to freak out about the first page in your book as, oh, it has to be perfect. I got to put the perfect thing in there. You just put whatever you put in there and leave it alone. That's fine. It'll just work the way it works, and everyone's fine. So don't report me to these people popping up on the screen here. If you don't like the book, you get it, you don't like it, you think it's terrible, don't tell them about it. You're going to get me in trouble. I'm telling you right now that you may not like it unless you do exactly what I'm doing with it. There's a possibility you won't like it, And even you're not going to use it the same way as me, and you don't want to bother them with that kind of information. It's different if I say something stupid, then you can report me. But if I'm telling you, hey, look, this is how I use it, and this is how I like it, but then you get it, you use it different, you don't like it, that's not their fault. It's not my fault either. That's all on you. That's definitely on you. So thumb up the video if you think maybe you're going to give this paper a shot, or maybe you think it just looks interesting enough to use, even if you just use it as a journal, even if you just write in it and do a little sketching and doodling in it, because it's absolutely a wonderfully crafted piece of thing. I know some people only into the vegan thing. You won't get it anyway because it is leather, and it is there's regular sizing as far as I know on it. So I know some people will not get that, but if you do get this kind of book, it's a wonderful book just to use for basic stuff, just writing in it, journaling. You can do anything in there because it's just a beautiful book. It's like you have this little ancient tome that you've just stuck under you like a friar in the woods. It just, don't worry. It's a nice thing. It's like someone found you in a cave and you have scribbled your writings in this ancient text thing, and nobody can understand what it says anyway. Don't worry about it. So, all right. Here's a couple of things that I left out. In here. Don't pay any attention to that. I have it. I didn't drop that. That didn't happen. It's flimsy. You know, the thing here is flimsy right here. It's slick because it's leather. So I was holding it at the edge and my finger just slipped off of it. It's very slippery. Don't pay any attention to what just happened. And one fring I like about it. It's a fring that I like about the book. Do you have frings that you like about things? I definitely do. So I want to do... I flipped my mouse on the floor. We're going to leave it there for a little bit. I'm going to continue with the video. If you would like to join our community, go to illustrationsbypete.com. You can come in, you can put your own artwork on the site and promote it. You can find some inspiration in the free reference photos. You can just use them however you want in your artwork. You do not need to credit me. Or you can come into the forums and talk to some people and maybe give some advice and maybe find a little bit of information that helps you. So come check us out. All right, that's about it for me. I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next one.